everyone. My name is Aaron Fewer. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Panorama Education. Today we serve about 900 school districts across the country focused on improving school climate and culture and helping schools improve attendance, behavior, and social emotional learning skills for students. So I want to start off by traveling back in time 14 years. I was a high school freshman in LA Unified at a large LA Unified public high school. And at the time, to be a high school student at LA Unified, everything was basically entirely about English and math test scores, kind of entirely about our school being a no child left behind, failing high school. How do we get our school back on track by raising our ELA and math scores as a school? And as a student, basically that sucks as a student. There's no kind of better word to describe that. And so what is unique about LA is that LA has a really rich history of students organizing for better schools, organizing walkouts and rallies and protests and petitions. And as a high school student, I got recruited to mobilize students in LA around two things that we thought would make school meaningfully better for students. One, we wanted to see an LA school system where every child had a real voice in school. And two, we wanted to see school that was about developing the whole child, about, we didn't know the term social emotional learning, but we knew about love of learning and self-confidence and relationship skills. As a student, you know that school has got to be more than just English and math test scores. And so fast forward 7 years ago, my co-founder and I were undergrads at Yale together. Looking back, we continued organizing students for many years around this vision. And it turns out, not surprisingly, that organizing students to basically fight against adults for better schools was not the most effective way of making this happen. Instead, to flip it. And so we want to work with districts in Connecticut at the time who really deeply care about this vision for whole child education and help them get it off the ground. And Panorama was born. And so today, as Panorama, we now serve 900 school systems across the country, serving all of their kids. 29 of the 100 largest districts run on Panorama. New York City, Dallas, Seattle, Boston, Washington, D.C., using Panorama with all of their kids. About 9 million students across the country. And we're about 130 folks based in Boston and San Francisco with about $32 million raised to date. And Panorama's work today across our districts focuses in three areas. First, we help schools look at school climate and culture. What are all the prerequisites to learning? Like before a student is going to learn English or math, they have to feel safe, they have to belong, we need high expectations. And so we help school systems understand how is the school environment supporting learning and getting students ready to learn, the same way that workplace culture matters tremendously to get employees to perform well. The second part of our work is that we look really deeply at social emotional learning in schools. And so traditionally, schools have had really rich data about how kids are doing in English and math. And then ask any teacher, any principal, a really deep belief there's a whole set of skills like growth mindset, self-management, self-efficacy that every child needs to succeed, but no one really knows how our schools are doing. And so we help school systems measure and understand how every child is growing in social emotional learning so they can figure out what are the gaps in these soft skills that students are going to need to be successful in their lives. What are the gaps systemically? What are our students missing? And then how do we make sure that every individual child is getting what they need? The same way every child is growing English and math, let's make sure every student graduates with the social emotional skills they need. And the third part of our work is Panorama Student Success, where we want to create the opportunity for every teacher, every principal, every superintendent to have a whole child view about how a student's doing. And that information right now is spread across a ton of different systems. You've got the student information system, an English assessment, a math assessment, great products, Panorama's SEL measures. And with student success, we pull together a whole view of a child across all of these data systems. Identify how is every child growing and developing what they need to be successful. And then also help teachers identify strategies to support students who are off track. So if you've got a student who's off track in literacy and they're missing school, we might recommend, here's what to do next, and teachers can use that to support students. And with that, we're Panorama, happy to talk more. Thank you.